is Johnny Wrestling, or Johnny Takeover, as my shirt says. And listen, I want you to listen. Like, we're involved right now. It's crazy, it's loud, it's hectic. We're in New York City, but I want you to listen to the No Holds Barred Network.
Enough is enough. They're always taking their sides, careless and nine, plus and minus their divide.
Hey guys, welcome back to the No Holds Barred Network with another episode of Under the Ropes. This is episode 27. I'm your host as always, the Queen of the Indies, the Heartbreak Chick. And I'm cracking up already. So today we have a very special guest, the cold-hearted player, Danny Demanto. What is going on?
I loved your intro.
I screwed it up and had the EVP of giggles as well, so I have like too many names. Like I feel like by the end of the show you're gonna give me a name too.
Oh, you want me to come up with a name for you by the end of the show?
I feel like that's the thing now, is like everybody gives me a nickname.
Oh, then if everyone's doing it, then I don't want to fucking do it.
All right, let's not do that. So, so guys, thank you so much for joining. As if you guys are new here, I interview wrestlers, promoters, referees, anything in the wrestling world, and yeah. So please share this stream. Let's get some more people in here. Let's get some questions. And are you ready to do this, Danny? I really
I mean, it's my first time. I've never really been interviewed before. I don't really know how to do this.
You'll be all right. We'll walk you through the process. I think you'll be all right. So,
are you gonna ask me like when my upcoming matches are? Because I don't have any.
Well, I don't know. Like, maybe. There's gonna be a lot of questions. If you guys got questions in the chat, please drop them below as well. So, all right. Let's
do not ask Tiffany for her phone number.
Please don't.
She's gonna just say no, and then she's gonna expose you on Facebook.
Yes. I'm gonna drop it all over the place. I mean, everybody's waiting. I know our friend Isaac. He's like, just expose them already. Just expose the people.
Isaac. Oh, Isaac. I hope Isaac's listening right now.
I don't know. Hopefully he's listening as well too. So
he has nothing else to do.
Aw. He'll be all right. All right. So since I know you, but not everybody else knows you, so how did you become a professional wrestler?
How did I become a professional wrestler?
Yes.
All right, I could do that story quick. Just like everybody else, I loved it my entire life. When I was 2 years old, playing with action figures, I used to make my grandmother write down who was wrestling who, stuff like that. Fast forward to getting in my teens, I found independent wrestling, just by word of mouth and flyers and going to an ECW show. Once I found independent wrestling, I knew that obviously I always knew I wanted to be a wrestler, but finding independent wrestling makes it a little bit more right up there in my face. So I weaseled myself onto Ring Crew one time, and then after that, I told people that I was a photographer, and I got myself a camera, and some companies started to let me shoot ringside, just to let me, do whatever. And then one day, I found out about the LIWF Doghouse in Brooklyn, New York. I joined the wrestling school, and the rest is history.
And here we are today. I love it.
Yeah. Here we are today.
So to the people that don't know you, what kind of style of wrestling best suits you?
Ooh, that's a rough question. I don't really feel like I have a professional wrestling style. I guess you could say mostly hardcore brawling with a mix of old school carny wrestling.
Awesome. So tell everybody, where are some of the promotions that you have worked for?
Over the span of time, some of the big standout ones. ICW is where I started, but I did the Jersey All Pro. I did CZW. Um, I Later on in my career, I started getting a little bit more comfortable in this area, so I stuck to pretty much like the NWS type companies, like the fan friendly company type companies, and ICW. And then once Jersey All Pro shut down, um, there was that whole revolution of starting Game Changer Wrestling. But I think we're pushing way too far
Mhm.
in the future by me talking about that yet.
Okay. Okay. So who's been
But I did my whole I did the whole WWE extra stuff.
mhm.
The security. I did all that stuff. I inspired to try to get into TNA/Impact for somewhat of a period of time. I did get close a couple of times, but the stars didn't align. Um, but yeah, go ahead. Shoot
Okay.
me another question, man. Tell me what's on your list.
All right. All right. All right. So, who's inspired you while like growing up to like kind of like get you into the business?
Oh, good one. Good one. Um, when I was young, Macho Man Randy Savage was my guy. I was an anti Hulk Hogan guy. Um, but then in 1997, when I discovered ECW, the franchise Shane Douglas is probably the most influential guy on my in ring career.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like learning all these little things about everybody. So you worked for GCW and ICW, two of my favorite promotions. Can you give us a little bit more of like what it's like working behind the scenes?
Uh, it's hell. No, it's rough.
Okay.
Uh, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of it's a lot of time that people don't really realize have to go into running shows. It's not just like I take a piece of paper, write down a bunch of names, and cross this guy wrestles this guy wrestles this guy. Everything has a reason. The videos that we do with Isaac, obviously those take one video takes mostly like about, I would say, 6 to 12 hours depending on the
Wow.
video. Um, uh, yeah, not everybody can run a wrestling company, which is something that you obviously have learned
Yeah.
over the last couple of years. Especially in our area, there's a lot of dreamers, but there's a lot more shows that are um, 45 people to 50 people in the crowd than there's 700 people in the crowd these days.
Yeah.
And it's a very much of an oversaturation in this area of people that think that they can run wrestling shows when, like I said, it's not just picking out about a bunch of wrestlers and, saying I run my own company. There's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into it.
And there's a lot that I don't even know, and like even like me seeing a lot behind the scenes, like there's still a lot that I don't even know. And for what I do see at a lot of promotions, it's a lot. Like
It's a lot.
I couldn't do it. Like I give everybody credit. That's why I tell
It depends on which level of promotion we're talking about
yeah.
here. You know what I mean? Like there's like the BWFs in New York that is just like a school show, or a bunch of dudes that are just gonna go out there and just have just like a regular show. It pretty much doesn't even get taped, and if it does get taped, it doesn't really even go anywhere. There's no stream that goes into it, so there's not much planning, and plus everything's already in that building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's another key too. Like they're just turning on the lights, but then there's like I've ran shows, you know, when I was part owner of Game Changer Wrestling, we ran shows across the country. You know what I mean? In Los Angeles, where we're getting off of a plane, and we still have to. Every single person's getting flown in, so we have to arrange rides from the airport, Airbnbs, meals, how they're going to get from the Airbnb to the arena. We have to set up the arena. We have to make sure the ring is at the arena. We have to make sure there's a crew to set up the ring. We have to test the internet for the live feed. You know what I mean? Like there is a lot that goes into running a show, especially when it's not even your home area.
What about like the language barrier? Like, I mean, you guys gone to like Japan.
Yeah.
Like, how is that like work with?
I did the Mexico thing, and that was extremely rough. And I somewhat Spanish.
Right.
I didn't go on the Japan tour. I was already out of the company by then. But when I went to Mexico, it's difficult. But I mean, you learn certain trigger words, and you got to just explain what you need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I give a lot of people. You also have to have a very good crew, an international crew.
Mm-hmm.
My team, which is what I call it, behind the scenes, spreads amongst the entire world right now.
Right.
So that I have people that, for example, I have a kid that translates a Japanese wrestling merchandise website for me, and sends me screen, like, say I need merchandise for Kenta Kobashi because we had him in Tampa, for example. Yes. I have a guy that knows how to translate Japanese websites that gets me merchandise from over there. I have guys in Japan that could get any type of talent that I want from Japan that normally I wouldn't have access to, over here.
Right.
And I have some guys in the UK. I have a bunch in Mexico. Mexico is an untapped territory that I think that once this whole issue that we're going through right
Mm-hmm.
now is over, I think that Mexico is going to blow up a lot more than it is right now, because IWTV is getting over there, and they're hooking up with a lot of crazy companies that just need to be seen.
Oh, that's exciting. Definitely exciting.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Mexico's it's also the Wild Wild West of Mexico. Like I saw a severed head in the backseat of a car. I saw dead animals everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
It was not a very fun experience.
Oh. Okay, well let's talk about a good experience. What's like the best indie crowd you've worked for?
As a performer?
Yes.
I would have to probably say the Jersey All Pro crowd from between the years of 2006 to 2009.
Was it just like a loud crowd, or like?
It was just like that family environment of like they believed. Mm-hmm. They believed in the product. They wanted the product to grow. So the fans, I felt like they participated as much in the show as the wrestlers. The only thing that I could really compare it to has been this Game Changer Wrestling run over the last couple of years, where the fans are there to do their part in performing as a part of the show, just as much as the wrestlers. They don't sit down. They stand up the entire time. They cheer for who they're supposed to cheer for. They do not. You don't go to shows like those anymore and you get like the "you fucked up" chants or anything like that. The fans are extremely respectful, and they're believing in a revolution. And I feel that wrestling, especially when like right when this comes back, I don't want to sound like a promoter or I'm trying to promote something, but I know that there's a lot of us that are going to knock it out the park the second this thing is over, because there's going to be so many fans that need that release
Yeah.
that they haven't gotten over, the last couple of months.
Right.
Um, for example, if Florida opened tomorrow and it was safe to go to a wrestling show,
Mhm.
I would run a wrestling show next weekend, and there would be 300 people there,
I
maybe even
believe
more.
it. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. I mean, I know, like, I talked to you that I finally went to my first GCW show live in January, and I just loved the experience
Yeah, it's
of it.
unbelievable.
It's something,
It's a
yeah.
good experience,
If
and
ever,
I'm sure that you felt the same way um, at the ICW show in
well, I
January,
feel
the No
that
Holds Barred show.
any ICW show that I go to, I feel that. I feel like it's family. Everybody knows each other. It's fun.
Right.
I'm never disappointed. That's why I always say, like, ICW is like one of my favorite promotions. Well, in New York, I mean, I know now, like, Jersey, and like now that you guys are like gonna travel as well, but ICW has always been like one of my favorite promotions. Like, I never walk out disappointed. Never. Never.
Well,
And
I feel like we had just figured it out. I think that the No Holds Barred thing
mhm.
opened up the doors for a lot more than just your traditional wrestling show.
Yeah.
And we were going to go in that we still are. We're going to go completely no holds barred, and gung ho in that direction. Um, and I feel that atmosphere is a little bit different than if you're going to a regular wrestling show.
Yeah.
I know that you had stage seats the last time, so
Yes.
you had your pretty much traditional experience.
Right.
But for those people down there in the pit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's a different emotion than if they were sitting in seats, because they are completely engaged the entire time. It's not like they could just sit down and go sit on their phone.
Yeah.
They have to stand there and they have to look up at
Yeah.
the show, and they have to enjoy it, and they have to invest.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to be careful because, especially someone that's never been to a show like that before, like, I think it's
A body could come flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody might jump up on the bar and jump off. Like, there's a
And
lot
you
of
guys
blood.
being on the stage,
No,
you
I
guys
was
are pretty much eye level.
it was
You
a
know?
good I'm very happy on the stage sitting watching this all be done, but like a lot of action was coming by me as well. Like
Imagine being in the front of that stage.
yeah. I'm good. I'm gonna sit. Like, I'm gonna sit and
Yeah.
always watch the ICW shows. But I'm hoping like we can come back soon. Like, I know unfortunately with everything going on, there were so many matches that were booked even for like Tampa that I'm like so disappointed that we're not gonna see. Do you
There
think?
was some matches that were booked in Tampa and
Yeah.
matches that were booked in New Jersey that weren't even announced yet.
Uh,
That were some of my favorite matches that I ever put together.
do you think we'll see that like in the future? Like, is that
Oh,
still hope and plan?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, there's especially the ones that I really wanted to make happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make them happen. It's not, do I think that when we come back, am I going to be able to make the exact same card happen again on any given day? No, because
Right.
no, not everybody is available.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there was certain matches that were booked that I've been trying to put together for years. So Takeda versus Dickinson is definitely
Yeah.
something I really want to make sure that it happens.
I'm really
Even
hoping
though
for
it was,
Red and Tessa Blanchard.
well,
but-
Red Tessa's happening. The only way that Red Tessa doesn't happen is if one of them retires or
Okay.
both of them retire.
I'm looking forward to
But
that.
everybody involved wants it to happen. They I could also give a little bit of inside dirt.
Ooh.
WrestleMania weekend, Impact. After that we had announced Red versus Tessa, Impact was going to try to do Red versus Tessa for the Impact title.
Ooh.
They were going to announce it like pretty much the week before. They were going to announce that the week before all of the nonsense broke out. And I don't want to say which person involved in the match spoke up, but one of the people spoke up in the match and said that it was being done elsewhere, and it was going to be done elsewhere for a reason, and that they didn't really want to do it there.
Yeah.
Um, so take that for what it is. But Tessa, I would love to talk about Tessa for a second.
Mhm.
I want to say that every piece of business I've ever done with Tessa has been 100%, and she's been a doll to work with. She's professional, and in my opinion, outside of the girls that are in WWE right now, Tessa Blanchard is the best women's wrestler in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
And I hated the nonsense that went on with her because I racked that up to a bunch of catty bitches that saw an opportunity and took it at a very terrible
Yeah. Um. So, who has been one of your favorites to work in ring with?
in the ring.
Yeah.
My top little list
Ooh.
would be Kenny Omega, Amazing Red, Dan Moff, Sammy Callahan, um, Pinky Sanchez. I really enjoy wrestling Pinky. Um, Bandito Jr. He wrestled for a very long time, and now he's a referee on. I think he might even be on Raw now, but Eddie Orongo or whatever his name is. He's definitely up there on my favorites. I tried to keep that. I mean, Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world,
Yeah.
but I tried to keep that as indie as possible.
Right.
But obviously, I have my other list of like fun experiences.
Oh, okay. Spill.
I had some good matches with like Tatanka, Shane Douglas, Mr. Anderson, Tito Santana. I actually had some really good matches with because he trusted me. X Pac. Um, but then there's Vader, who I never had a good match with. I wrestled him 5 times. He knocked me out 4.
Oh, wow.
Um, he just was such a piece of shit every single time. Very selfish, shitty person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Uh, it was always an experience working with Scott Hall. I got to work with Scott Hall 3 or 4 times now. Learning experience every time. He's very quick to send his criticism your way, which is always a good thing because I'd much rather someone tell me I suck and tell me why than tell me I'm great, think I suck. You know what I mean? I learned nothing that way.
All right. Wow.
Also a shout out to House of Glory. Uh, I wrestled there
Mm-hmm.
pretty much like the entire beginning part of House of Glory. I was on the first like probably dozen shows of the existence. All storylines aside, Red and Brian have always been really close friends of mine in professional wrestling, and I have always been a very big House of Glory supporter. And yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Jack's in the chat. Hi, Jack. Has to shout you out a little bit. Jack from ICW. What's going on?
Why is he in the chat?
What do you mean? Why is he in the chat?
Can he hear me?
Yes.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
Okay, I'm moving on. All right, we have a fan tweet from our friend Mags. He said, Danny has faced the who's who of wrestling legends such as Amazing Red, Shane Douglas, Tommy Dreamer, and Jake the Snake Roberts. Which legend gave you the most help and advice throughout your career?
Ooh, so many of them. So many. I could definitely can't name one. Um, Definitely a lot of those people on that list, except Red. I taught Red everything he knows. Um, Definitely add George the Animal Steel to that list. And I never wrestled him physically, but I did get to work with him. He was a manager on the outside of the ring, but he sat me down afterwards and taught me a lot about psychology and how certain things work in professional wrestling that I'll never forget. Um, Tommy definitely taught me a lot about hardcore wrestling and brawling and how to tell a story with it. Other veterans. Well, Hardcore Jack Sabbath obviously has taught me everything I know about selling overpriced wrestling figures.
I'm dead.
Trying to think of who else is. I'm definitely drawing a blank right now. We're killing too much time.
Okay, all right. Let's go on. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of death matches. What's your dream death match?
Not for myself, right?
No, for yourself. Well, first of all, have you done a death match before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how did that go? Who,
I was in Tournament of Death twice for CZW. I did a couple of death matches ish in Game Changer Wrestling at the beginning. Did some tubes, did some stuff like that. I also did a couple of death matches early on in my career against Low Life Louie in New York. My first death match bloody experience was against Louie, but then I wrestled New Jack, and once I wrestled New Jack, that opened up the blood gates.
Oof. So dream death match.
Dream death match, me versus a guy.
Yes.
In a death match.
Yes.
Fuck.
I know you love this shit because I mean when I went to that ICW show and then like you saw me like I was squirming with some of the death matches that you asked me if I was okay because I was loving light tubes, but sometimes it's a little too much for my liking. But
you know that there's an actual condition of that type of wrestling fan.
What do you mean? Oh God.
You could actually Google it, and everybody at home could Google it. It's called bloodlust.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a fan that gets off on the smell, the look, and overall knowing that somebody's bleeding in front of them.
Oh my.
So like, there's deathmatch fans,
yeah,
and then there's wrestling fans,
right.
and then sometimes it mixes together. But there's some fans that attend shows that I run that I have to tell them, like, listen, there isn't going to be any blood or there isn't going to be any death matches on this show, and they're going to stay home.
Yeah.
You know, they only come unless if they could see the blood.
Oh wow.
But they come all over they come from all over the country. You know, that first ICW show in January, there was fans that bought tickets from probably close to 20 different states.
Oh wow.
And flew in from all over, and that wasn't really like a deathmatch show. The show that we were about to run coming up in June, which is obviously probably not going to happen now, but it's going to happen down the line, the Deathmatch Circus in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
That show was going to be extremely deathmatch based.
Oof. I was planning on going with Brad and Margaret to that show, so I'm kind of like really sad.
You would have needed an umbrella.
Yeah. I'll be in the back. I'll be behind Brad, scared, like, oh God.
We had so many ideas. I could probably throw some ideas out. It was going to be a deathmatch circus, so we were going to have like a lot of circus type acts. Like we were going to have strippers in every corner dancing in between the matches.
Oh wow.
And they were going to be dressed as clowns.
Oh man.
Like we had fire breathers coming. We had a dunk tank for Matt Wolf. Terry Funk was going to be at the Deathmatch Circus.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, you know what? I look forward to like when it comes back. So.
And a lot of ideas have come about during this period of time, and I'm not one of these promoters, and I'll definitely harp on that for a second. I really hate all you promoters that are announcing things right now for August, September, October, because you don't know if they're happening, and it's going to kill your credibility. And kind of distasteful because there's a lot of awful things going on in the world
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And I'll make an announcement within an announcement. Right now, I have 9 pending shows, but the fans know about none of them. And if they happen, they happen. And if they're capable of happening, the fans will know about them, and they'll know about them within enough time for them to get to them.
Right.
But am I going to announce something right now when everybody's dying left and right
Yeah.
and sick and out of work and not knowing the future? The reason for an announcement is to sell tickets. What wrestling fan is going to buy a ticket right now
Yeah.
to anything?
Right.
It would be stupid,
Right.
extremely stupid. So if you're a wrestling promoter and this applies to you, I think you're fucking stupid.
Wow. All right. So you didn't answer my death match, your dream death match.
Oh, my dream death match.
Let's go. Come on, dream death match.
It's got to be Nick Gage because Nick Gage to me is the best death match wrestler of all time.
Give me. Could this be a possibility? Can we get this? Like,
not again. No. My death match days are over, but I will definitely supply the some of the better death match shows in the United States after this is over.
right.
I do love deathmatch wrestling. It's in my blood. It's what I really enjoy. I know it's not for everybody, and I get that, and I totally understand it, and I totally get it. But I know a lot of people that like it.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're an ICW fan and you plan on watching ICW in the future, definitely know that deathmatch is definitely always going to be the route, and I'm never going to veer off from deathmatch wrestling to throw, some bullshit comedy show on just for the hell of it. The root is always going to be the root.
Yeah. Okay, so we have another fan tweet from our friend Conrad. He said, "What makes a good independent promotion in your eyes?"
Ooh, good independent promotion. Um, a good one, I think, is a promotion that has a solid fan base that they don't really need to bring in a top name or a top draw to get a crowd. Um, One that has a online following where if there is actually a good one has to have a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not live streaming your company, then you're very behind. There are so many possibilities now and capabilities to live stream um, that if you're not, then you're cutting yourself off completely. Um, if you're running a little bullshit show at the Richfield Park VFW in front of 45 people, and you're just videotaping it on your phone or on Hokey's GIFs, then that's not a good promotion.
Yeah.
A good promotion is known across the country and across the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I look at the merchandise that comes in for ICW, or even when I was with Game Changer, yes, you do see the New York and you see New Jersey often in the addresses, but I would say it would be 2 to 1 for every 2 orders that come in from New York and New Jersey. There's one from Kentucky, there's one from Arizona, there's one from California, and there's one from Korea and China and all these other countries across the world because
Yeah.
that's what you need. You the current state of professional wrestling needs to have the company be known worldwide,
Right.
or you're wasting your time,
Yeah.
or you're not wasting your time. There's room for those companies. There's rooms for the BWFs and the VSX, or I might have said the letters wrong, but there's levels to this,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the $20 sit anywhere you want type companies, and a couple of the local guys, and then there's the companies that you got to pay $60 to get into,
Yeah.
but you know what you're getting
Yeah.
at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
That's why I always tell people like try other promotions as well, because there's some
Yeah.
really good ones out there. Like I didn't really know as much as I do now without me just like. That's why I tell people like if there's even like a wrestler that you like, follow them. They'll bring you to like other promotions as well that you might find other wrestlers that you like, or just the promotion might have a great atmosphere or whatever the case
Right.
is. But even
That's another big key, and I'm really happy that you just said that word.
yeah.
Back to the question that the fan asked, what makes a good promotion? The number one thing is the atmosphere.
Yeah. Definitely.
If you go into a building that has a bunch of chairs set up, and you know what I mean, there's only a couple of people sitting in the front row over there, and then like the most amount of people are in the seventh row in the back corner heckling, that's not the best environment. But
Right.
if you walk into a building like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but like the White Eagle Hall, where it seems like the vibe is just there.
You're right.
You know what I mean? That's what makes a good promotion.
Yeah. Definitely.
Atmosphere is the number one biggest thing.
Oh, definitely. I could tell me as a fan, I could see it all the time with all the different promotions that I've gone to. When the crowd is dead, it's horrible. It takes away from it.
And one of the biggest keys, I mean, this is a little bit of a plug, but I think that if anybody out there that doesn't have a IWTV account, it's $10 a month,
It's worth it.
and you have access to every single independent top company out there, pretty much.
It's a lot of
You get their live streams, you get their entire library. You could look up wrestlers by their names. So if you wanted to search me, for example, you put in Danny Demanto. Every single match of mine that is on IWTV is right in front of you with one search.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to look up Anthony Gangone on IWTV, you have access to every single one of his matches. If somebody said, if someone watched the show and they said, oh shit, I really like that new up and coming wrestler John Wayne Murdoch, and they never seen John Wayne Murdoch before, they could see all they want of him.
Yeah.
And it's $10.
It's
If you're
great.
an indie promoter and you don't have an IWTV account, you're an idiot. If you're an indie wrestler and you don't have an IWTV account, you're an idiot. It's homework.
No,
And
it's
if you have a legit business and you have a company and it's an LLC, you could write it off. If you really, 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 really are hard up for the $10 a month, you could write off your subscription on your taxes, because it's part of your learning process of your business.
Right. Oh wow.
And if you're a wrestler and you're paying taxes on your wrestling money, it's also possible for you to write off your IWTV account. Same thing as your WWE Network account.
Mm-hmm.
Any wrestler that says, oh, I don't really want to pay $10 a month, then you say right back to them, well, you can write it off on your taxes. Why? You don't want to watch what you do on a regular basis? Like, how do you say that you're a professional wrestler and then be one of those cocky assholes that says, oh, well, I'm a professional wrestler, but I don't know what's going on in the current state of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Do you know how stupid and ignorant that sounds? And I get it all the time.
Oh man.
And another thing that I get all the time, and that I know that you like it when I blow up things. Indie wrestlers, do not contact somebody and make your selling point that you're willing to do one death match. I don't want somebody that's never done a death match to do one death match. It's dangerous. It's unforgiving. And I'd much rather use guys that wrestling fans want to see doing death matches.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it's a little delusional when you say, hey, I don't really do death matches, but I'll do one in order to get booked. It makes you look stupid.
Oh boy. No. I got a couple questions in the chat. Max said, what promotion would you have liked to wrestle for but never got the opportunity for?
Who asked that question?
Our friend Mags.
Oh, Max. Wrestling. Shit. I would have liked that Impact run.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, just because of how close I got. I moved to Orlando to pursue it and stuff like that. So I would have liked to have had that come about just because of how close I got to it. Um, and I definitely would have liked to have done Ring of Honor to be able to say that I did Ring of Honor, but my style faded out of Ring of Honor very early on once they switched over. Um, from RF Video, they pretty much got rid of most of the hardcore stuff.
All right.
So,
Margaret asked in the chat, our friend Margaret, she goes, what is one name you hope to get on ICW that you haven't secured yet?
ooh, that's a long list.
Give
It's a
top
long
five.
list.
Give top five.
Top 5
Mm-hmm.
that I have not gotten in yet.
Yes.
I also have to make it entertaining for you guys. So, like, I have some diamond in the rough guys that not many people know about. But Brett Eisen is definitely on that list. He's an up and comer out of the Tennessee area. He was going to be on both of these shows, but obviously that didn't happen. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some good ones. Sammy Callahan needs to do No Holds Barred because little inside scoop. Sammy was the one who came up with the use the chains as the ropes.
Oh.
Obviously, Amazing Red.
Yeah.
Well, I'm counting him as somebody that I would like to see in that environment. I somebody that I have not secured yet that would be great. Oh, Abdullah Kobayashi from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do him versus Schlack in the States. I would also like. Bear Country.
Oh, yes.
I'm a big fan of Bear Country, and I was trying to get them on the Tampa show. It didn't work out. They weren't going to be on the Tampa show, but they are going to be a part of ICW in the future.
I'm sure Brad will pop for that because I know Brad loves them. So
yeah, they're good kids. They come from a good bloodline too. So
yeah,
I look forward to that.
Margaret popped in the chat. Okay, we have another fan tweet for our friend Alex. He said, "What AEW wrestler do you want to face, and in what type of match?"
Woo! AEW wrestler. I would love to wrestle MJF in a Singapore cane match where I could book myself to win, so I could beat him with a Singapore cane 10 times. No, MJF definitely. That's more of a personal thing. We wanted to make it happen for a long time, but he blew up a little too quick. Same exact reason as Bear Country. I appreciate where he came from. I appreciate how good he got as quick as he got. He's very respectful towards the generation that came before him. AEW wrestlers that I haven't wrestled. Oh, Jungle Boy, for sure. Love Jungle Boy. He's awesome. I would love to be able to have a match with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to put together a match with Marco right before he went to AEW. I was very happy that we got to do that. I've wrestled Joey Janela way too many times. I'm done with that, I think.
Oh man.
I wouldn't mind another private party match. That'd be fun. I've known those kids their entire, wrestling lives.
Pretty much anybody and everybody, right?
Not everybody.
Definitely
not everybody. But I mean, the roster is phenomenal.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean?
It's a good roster.
In a delusional world, if my body wasn't as beat up as it is now, I would have loved one more with Kenny Omega. I really would have loved it. A little bit of insight. I was his first and second match in the United States, ever.
Mm-hmm.
When he first came here, and he's my best match of my life. And even back then, I knew that he was going to be like I thought he was the best wrestler in the world. Um, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, and I thought he was then. But I knew one day he would be considered the best wrestler in the world,
Yeah.
which is definitely what he is. Proud. What were they? Pride
Yeah.
and Powerful.
Yeah. Or
What's
they're
the
just
name?
going by like Santana and Ortiz really right now.
Oh, good, good, good. Well, Santana or Ortiz. Those are another two guys I known since the birth of them. So it would always be cool to go down memory lane. There is no more dream matches for me, as far as like a list of guys that I looked up to and I wanted to cross off the list. The last one I had to do was Shane Douglas, which I did at ICW, and before that was Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
They were the last two on my mark out list or whatever you want to call it. As far as like matches that I would want to still do, I'm pretty much retired. Like every now and then I'll dabble against a friend
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, but that's pretty much what it is. There's a bunch of stuff that I would love to do against guys that I consider friends, but all my dreams and my passions and my you know cool things that I'm going to be doing for here on out is going to be in ICW and creating, from a creative standpoint, not so much a wrestling standpoint.
Yeah. David asked in the chat, will ICW ever run a show at the Hammerstein Ballroom?
No, it's so expensive.
I'm
We tried to
sure.
run Joey Janela Spring Break at the Hammerstein
Oh,
Ballroom.
wow.
It's financially impossible unless you have pretty much like corporate sponsors.
Right. Right.
Like a regular company can't walk in that building, and it's not just you give them money for rent, and you sell your tickets. You have to sell your tickets through them. You get your money 6 months after the event is
Oh, wow.
over, and you need to use their union workers to load in and out every single thing that you have because of insurance reasons, and you pay every one of those union workers $30 each, and they need 12 of them.
See, little things you don't
thirty
know.
dollars $30 each an hour.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Little things you don't know, right?
Ring of Honor has a lot of sponsors. That's why
Yeah.
they're able to do what they do.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have some cool venues, but we have let's put it this way: we had a better shot at running the Garden, the theater in the Garden,
Yeah.
than running Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day. You never know, right? Never know.
You never know.
You never
You
know.
never know. But New York also sucks, and I think that there's not New York sucks. The athletic commission sucks.
I knew what you meant.
And there's too many restrictions. So right now, the New York fans, they get mad at me all the time. They say that like we turned on them. We didn't turn on them.
No, I get it.
Just cross the bridge, and we'll be able to give you a lot more for your buck.
Yeah, even like some of it's not that far from New York. If you live in
Jersey,
New York, it's
the
not.
Jersey
Yeah,
City building,
yeah,
you can't even somewhat complain.
yeah,
because it's legit 4 minutes from the tunnel.
yeah. It's not even a bad drive, or if you decide to take the bus, because I know some friends that have taken the bus over, so it's really not bad. But me, who's been in New York and expanded to go see shows in Jersey, I understand why now. A lot of shows are done in Jersey and not in New York anymore. But again, too, like I see, and like some of them, I take the drive. I mean, man, I drove to Pennsylvania, and some of these wrestlers, they drive to Maine. They drive all over the place. So
Pennsylvania kind of has the same exact rules as New York. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But like then there's states like Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, California. We could do whatever the fuck we want. So why would we dull down the product to? And the other thing about that is fans like yourself
Yeah.
which is what I'm gearing towards, is like the smart fan that knows about other companies is going to know that the show in New York is restricted. So the very first thing in their head is negative.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like, hey, oh, you know what? They're going to do the New York show. I'll skip the New York show and I'm just going to wait till New Jersey. Do you know how many people told me that lived in New York? I'm going to skip the New York one and I'll wait till the New Jersey one because I know what I'm going to get.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean? In New York, you can't even do doors anymore.
That's terrible, because like, again, like I said, I've sat here and I've gone to a bunch of shows here in New York, and like I say, ICW is like one of my favorite promotions. I never walk out disappointed, so that's, you know, like, I support
There's
like my
definitely
favorite
shows
ones.
that almost got shut down.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen some
You
of
know?
those as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another fan tweet from Through the Table. They said, if you could wrestle any fictional character in history, who would it be?
Fictional character.
don't even-
Like Iron Man?
I
Or
guess.
something like that? If I could wrestle any fictional character. He's not fictional. Who would you say?
I don't know. I kind of laughed when I saw that question. I was like, what?
If you were me, how about this? Tiffany,
I don't know.
if you were me, who would you
I don't-
want to wrestle if you were a fictional character?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm not the fictional character. Hold on. The fictional character, probably Skeletor.
Okay, we're moving on. I'm sorry, that's a silly question. All right, wait. I saw Brad. You know what? Let's go to Brad's question, because the next question's gonna make.
Does Jack not have questions, or he probably just doesn't know how to type?
I don't know. Isaac just joined the chat and went, "Oh my."
Yes, Isaac,
Oh jeez.
yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so wait, Brad came up with a thing. He says, as a big Midwest and West Coast wrestling fan, I'd love to see some here. And there any wrestlers from there that you would like to bring over?
From the Midwest.
Yes.
And what was the other territory? Didn't he say something else?
Midwest and West Coast.
And yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we were hoping for Chris Bay being Brad.
Oh, he likes that Chris Bay.
Yes.
See, like Chris Bay, he fits more of the game changer. Whoop! I just fell. He fits more of the game changer mold.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's not, because there's not going to really be too many like of those flippy type matches anymore. Yeah. Definitely a very talented athlete, but you know he's more of the KTB 6-way at GCW.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, any thoughts of who you would like?
Yeah. I like I said, like that guy Brett Eisen.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Tennessee. Old Mansers, obviously from out that way.
Yeah.
Chicago. I want to definitely bring in Gringo Loco again. Robert Anthony is on my list. He's at the top of my list, actually. Robert Anthony, or his older gimmick of Ego Fantastico. He's a really good heel out there from the Midwest, but you know he's very talented. Midwest guys. Oh, you consider like Ohio Midwest, kind of? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. From the AIW crew, Dominic Caneri. Damn, this dude's his name always, it's something Tucker. It's like Big Truck Tucker or something like that. I'm a fan though from AIW. Matthew Justice is definitely growing on me.
Please, I would love that. Like he's great.
Definitely growing on me.
Oh man,
you know, I love Eric Ryan. I love Alex Colon. Obviously, they're Midwest guys. Oh, and then you said West Coast. I would love to get B-Boy back out here. Ruby Reyes, my girl from California, she's going to definitely be making a very big impact in ICW once things come back.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fan of her stuff.
Yeah, Brad's happy. He said AIW is sick.
Oh, he's wrote AIW is sick, Brad.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the big things that we talked about even earlier, environment.
Yeah.
And they create an amazing environment, an amazing atmosphere for the fans. And that also crosses over to the wrestlers.
Yeah.
When the wrestlers have a crowd that's hyped like that, they go in harder.
I've seen
You know
that
what I mean?
plenty. I've seen it plenty. It's great.
Yeah.
Smiley's in the chat. He said, to this day, Danny is the hardest chop I have ever received. Who is the hardest chop has he ever received?
I stopped Smiley's heart this one time. I believe he was like, all right. The hardest chop I ever received. Probably my trainer Lathon. Oh no, actually the hardest chop I ever received was from Josh Daniels. He's before your time, so you're not gonna really remember him, but he did he was very similar to the Chris Benoit, New Dynamite Kid. He had kind of that persona, you know what I mean? Very intense. His chops are very hard. Loki's chops are extremely hard. But mine are harder. So Smiley is right. And my bad, Smiley.
Okay, so this question might pop a lot of people that are currently in the chat right now. So
here we go.
Here we go. Okay, I know this is gonna pop a lot of people in the chat because I'm just gonna start dying laughing. All right. Okay. So with a lot of the shows that I've go to, right? I see you mess with the fans a little, right? Mittens. What's the story behind that?
What, behind Mittens?
Yeah,
I create stars. That's what I do. And I created Mittens from fucking nothing. He was a horny little fucking turd. Actually, no, I said horny. I've never even seen him hit on a woman in front of me, ever. And he just whatever. So he used to wear those mittens on his hands, and one day I said that they were mittens, and he screamed from the crowd, "No, they're not mittens. They're CM Punk wristbands." and from that moment on, everyone has ran with mittens. But if he ever makes it in life, I should get 10% of it.
I broke a lot of people in the chat with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I created mittens from nothing.
I was there was a bunch of shows, but I remember the show that you told him to not waste his WrestleMania money and to go get a prostitute.
Oh, I told him to get a prostitute many times.
Then I was at one of the last ICW shows, and I turned it into a GIF where you threw him into Pinky Sanchez. That is one of my favorite GIFs that I created.
And that it was a spur of the moment thing.
It was. I know.
I definitely just saw him kneeling down there by the ring, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking throw him. You know what match that I would really love to have done?
What?
And I never got to do it?
What's that?
Me versus Jack Sabbath.
Oh, I sad.
Would beat the living shit out of Jack. And he knows it. He bullied me as a young child, and it made me into the asshole that I am today. But I would definitely be able to blow him up and beat him up. And Isaac would absolutely love his life. Oh man. So I have a question.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's my turn now.
Oh no.
especially
over.
With everybody that's in the chat.
Oh God. Help.
So most wrestlers you contact to do the shows, correct? If
yes.
you're thinking it,
yes.
So
it was me.
Right. So
oh God.
Would you say that 50% of them hit on you to the point that you have to tell them that you have a boyfriend or something? Or would you say that number's less?
Wait, let me think about. Okay, we're on episode 27. I'm trying to think. I don't. It's funny. I think a few hit on me even after the fact.
Right.
It's more the people that I get more of those DMs that haven't been on the podcast, or like the ones that try to hit on me so that I would let them get on the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's creative.
Yeah.
That's creative. I like that. I like that.
Um.
They think that they're gonna just throw their meat your way.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Like, just don't.
they're gonna be like, podcast interview. Let's go.
I like the ones that
I'm gonna feed Tiffany my meat, and then I'm gonna get on her podcast afterwards.
I'm nobody special. I'm just the girl who loves wrestling that wants to talk wrestling with people. That's just really what it is.
But you're a girl around wrestling.
I know it's.
So you have to understand.
I know that
it comes with the territory.
I know.
Like, there's definitely gonna be a guy that just slips in your DMs one day. He's like, "Hey Tiffany, you have really nice legs." You know what I mean? Like, and it's just gonna be that.
Oh,
way.
I've gotten worse than that. I've gotten worse.
I'm sure that you have.
I could really make like a book, like the stories of a podcaster's DMs or something. It'd be really bad.
Didn't Jordan Grace write a book?
Yeah. I could do it as a podcaster. I'm telling you.
She was like 21 years old, and she already had a book written about guys slipping in her DMs.
Oh, geez, I could destroy a lot of wrestlers. So think before you slide in my DMs. So
that is where I'm getting at.
I really could.
Wrestlers, if you're putting in writing, and you don't know if the girl is 100% in, you're an idiot.
I'm not that, so don't get any ideas. So I shut everybody down. Everybody.
Why do you shut everybody down though?
Because I just do. I don't want to mix the podcast with like business like that, like and pleasure. I don't want to do it. I'm sorry. Don't.
Learning young. You're learning young.
It's not smart. Okay, like I know I've been on people's podcasts and we've talked about oh god, I'm like blank right now. What do they call them? The girls that sleep with all the wrestlers, the ring rats. Yeah, I am not a ring rat, so don't get any damn ideas.
Well, the definition of a ring rat, from my knowledge, I mean, I might be wrong, but the definition of a ring rat is a girl that sleeps with a wrestler because of his wrestling status.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. That necessarily might not be the case in every single case. Some girls, just because they find that wrestler attractive, doesn't necessarily mean that they got with them because that they were a wrestler.
Exactly.
But there's lines there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just because I have a list of husbands, that doesn't mean that I'm sleeping with the list of husbands. Okay?
Yeah, but you're opening up like how do I get on the list of husbands?
They do. That's the other thing too. How many people like ask me, how do I get on your list of husbands? You don't. You just do.
What does Anthony Gangone have that I don't have?
It's the hair, man. It's the hair.
Gotta be something.
Jeez. Oh man, I can't. By the way, Isaac is dead in the chat.
No, don't die, Isaac. I need you. He's the real MVP of all this. Isaac is definitely the real MVP.
He really. I gotta have him on the podcast one of these days. We're gonna talk
Isaac.
Isaac.
He'd be a shitty interview.
Oh, okay. You're all right. Well, Brad said in the
I'm the personality here. Imagine you had Jack on this thing.
I would have fun with Jack.
He would never have been able to figure out the Skype. So
Isaac will help him.
You wouldn't have really been able to do that. How do you feel about all these wrestling promoters? Well, not wrestling promoters, but these vendors selling all their merchandise on Facebook Live. Do you think it's a positive thing or a negative thing?
I mean, but you see, like me, like I'm not big into like memorabilia, but I get it. And like, there's a lot of like, even friends that I know, like they're very big into it. Like I understand it. And especially if, with businesses not being open and like maybe some people kind of need that, just like maybe like you even need wrestling, like that's their out. So I can understand
it. Kind of has like it gives people a reason to get together and like, talk about whatever. And if you have the money to spend on it, then
Right.
sure.
Yeah. So like
You know,
I get always twisted into a
merchandise
positive.
money has been up across the board.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it gives you know, especially like if you have a website you can buy from, or even like you said, like Facebook Live. So
Yeah,
I
like
can
you
see the
go on
positive in it.
www.thewrestlinguniverse.com
Yes.
and you could buy very very nice wrestling autographs and figures and ICW merchandise.
A lot of
And
great stuff.
you know, you should always plug your friends, especially when they're in the chat, so then that they private text message you pops up on my screen, thanking me for their plug. You know,
Jack
if
called you an
Brad needs me to
asshole.
plug anything, I can plug something for Brad as well on here.
Okay, go plug for Brad. Brad's in the chat still.
Well, I already plugged for Brad by telling him that I wanted to bring all of his Midwest people in.
It's Darren Corbin too. You need to bring over. He
Oh,
loves that
Darren
guy.
Corbin, that's my guy.
Yeah, you gotta bring him over. I know,
That's
like
my
Brad
guy.
loves him. Love
Yeah, I
him.
mean, I don't think Darren Corbin will ever probably come to this area, but I'd probably use Darren Corbin in that area if I was to run in that area.
Yeah. Oh man. I guess we're going to the West Coast one day. So,
Oh, California was going to happen this summer, actually.
oh. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I have friends in California.
There was a lot planned that wasn't announced, and there's a lot in motion without being announced as well.
Mhm. Well, if people that are listening to this podcast, there's a bunch in California, just know that eventually like ICW will go over there, and it's definitely one that I push so hard that people should go see. So,
Oh, absolutely.
all right, let's go on to another question because we have a couple more questions. Okay, so thoughts on the growth of the independent scene in the tri-state area since the beginning of wrestling?
Ooh, that sounded like a fan that does not like women's wrestling, right?
What, women's wrestling? No, I'm just saying like independent, mostly like just independent wrestling.
Oh, independent.
Independent. No. Independent. Because I know like I feel like the independent scene in the tri-state has blew up within like the last couple of years a lot. So like
there was definitely a resurgence that happened. I would say in 2016 there was a resurgence. 2001 there was the bloom, which is everybody talks about as the big boom of independent wrestling in this area. That's when it got the hottest. That's when everybody was breaking out at like the best time. Around like 2000, I would say 8, it died out until about 2015, and then once 2016 happened, a lot of the game changed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Vince Steele said in the chat, Danny has been a good businessman, much respect.
He's a slob.
Oh God. Jeez.
Fuck you, Vince Steele, with your little somersault fucking leg drop.
Oh my God. All right.
Vince Steele's a good guy. We come from the same wrestling school. He used to wrestle as Vinny the Pooh, and he really hates it that I tell that to people every single time I talk about him. But his wrestling name used to be Vinny the Pooh, and I watched our trainer knock him out 3 times in one match once in front of no fans.
Oh man. Oh jeez. So with 2020 being halted, who in your opinion should like fans be on the lookout for in the independent scene?
That didn't get scooped up yet by anybody.
Yeah.
Chris Dickinson's got to be the next to go.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
Chris Dickinson, Tony Deppen,
Yeah.
KTB. Bear Country's going to do a little something, I'm sure. Old Manser.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm trying to think if there's anybody on the real come up that I don't like throwing out my secrets either. Like, I
Okay,
have
we'll
a
move
couple.
on. We go on. You gave a couple. You gave a couple. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. We got a fan tweet from Ray. He goes, "What are your thoughts of being a custom in WWE 2K?"
What?
He created you as a custom to play in the
Oh,
game.
oh. I mean, that's pretty cool. I haven't played like a wrestling video game in like the modern era. Like, I have never played as myself, created to like nicely. But that it's pretty cool when they send me a video and stuff like that.
Ray, get
Of
on it.
how
Send him a clip.
how no, I've seen them. I've seen them.
Yeah. All right, you gotta clip it, Ray, and tag him so he can see. Okay, so my favorite question that I ask everybody, because I love this question, I love the stories, and I'm sure you have. What's been the craziest thing a fan's done to get your attention?
uh, um, craziest thing a fan has done. I gotta make this a good story. All right, we're gonna do it. There was this fan named Bob. Uh, he really liked when wrestlers would take a picture with him in a full Nelson. That's where it started.
Okay.
So, intermission comes, we're all signing our autographs, blah, 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 blah. And this was when Polaroids was still a thing. We had a Polaroid on our table, and it was like $5 to take a picture with me. And he said, "Oh, I'll pay you 20 if you put me in a full Nelson." I was like, "Oh, okay." I put him in a full Nelson, and then he's like, "Oh, but you got to really put it on me."
Oh,
So I really put it on him. And then at the next show, it turned into full Nelson, this submission, this submission, this submission. So then it was $20 each. Then it turned into, I'll pay you $500 to take these 3 pictures with me. But it was always just taking a picture of him in a hold. It was never
oh wow.
sexual. It was never like, it never got to that point ever. But Homeboy probably dropped like $15,000 on
Oh
me,
my goodness.
and Kevin Matthews made more.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
off the same guy.
Oh boy.
If so, that's definitely a weird thing. But then there's also like the girls that slip in the DMs. Like, I also want to make it very clear, because we made this seem like it was very one-sided and that wrestlers are just thirsty pigs for you. There's definitely those girls that slip in my DMs or other wrestlers' DMs that, they're there just to want to fuck.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
I believe it's on both sides. I know it's not a one-sided thing.
I was in a fucking 6-year relationship with a girl because she slipped in my DMs, and the very first words out of her mouth were, "I really wish I could trust you, Danny Demanto."
Oh boy.
6 years later, yeah.
Oh man. All right, so there's a question in the chat from Jason. He goes, "How did Danny and Red's feud over the ICW title come about around the same time they were tag champs? How was that dynamic?"
That's not a thing. Me and Red's feud started. It wasn't even supposed to be a feud at all. It was supposed to be one match. Jack booked me versus Red on a random ICW show, and it was the start of a magical relationship. We had one match, and then we did that video that was posted the other day, the World Star video, where we fought each other outside the building. And then, one match turned into the next match, turned into the next match. And once we did like the feud ender, which, obviously wasn't the feud ender, then we went into that whole like, I hate you, you hate me, but we're the best tag team there could be type thing. And we did that, but we never feuded over the ICW title. That was always somebody else.
Isaac said, "Ask D if he heard of Wrestling Society X."
Yo, he loves Wrestling Society X. Have you watched Wrestling Society X?
No. New thing for me to look up.
It's wild. It's
Yeah.
very, very wild. It's over the top, yeah.
In sense of
Isaac loves
what?
himself some Wrestling Society X.
Like in terms of what? Like wild,
It's no wild like the matches get very wild, but not too much deathmatch stuff.
Mhm.
It's very similar to Lucha Underground.
Okay.
Very
Okay.
similar.
All right.
Very
Definitely.
same creators.
Okay.
So it comes from the same bloodline. Isaac's just very artistic, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he really likes and Isaac likes it when I cook for him when he comes over and we edit videos
Mhm.
and I cook for him and we shit talk people.
Oh, okay. Don't shit talk me. I'll bring
Well,
cookies.
we've only shit talked you a couple of times,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's only like in good love.
Okay, good. I'll bring cookies
We
next
shit on
time.
Jack a lot more, obviously.
Okay,
The
so
person we shit talk the most would be the guy that gives us money, right?
pretty much. Okay, so what you been doing to keep busy during the pandemic?
My right bicep is a lot stronger than my
Oh,
left.
jeez.
I'm kidding. No, I've stayed pretty busy. So I have a lot of wrestling merchandise here that I've accumulated over a lot of years of this.
Mhm.
So I've been dumping a lot of that on eBay and stuff like that. I did a lot of ICW planning and bullshit and ready for the future. I've watched way too much TV though, way too much, and I've cooked way too many eggs.
Too many eggs?
I don't think I'm gonna cook eggs after this is over.
No?
Yeah, like eggs is just gonna be eliminated for like
Just
at least
bacon.
a year.
Just bacon, right? Just
Bacon.
bacon. Just bacon. I know he's always talking about bacon.
Every day, all day, every day.
I did a bacon potluck once. Brad and Margaret can vouch for it. That everybody brought a dish over and it had to have some sort of bacon in the dish, whether it was a dessert, whether it was an entree, an appetizer, whatever it was. So
I'm not trying to slip in your DMs or hit on you or be with you or anything like that. But if you have one of them parties again,
all right, I'll invite you over. I got you.
I mean, I'm in.
All
I'm
right,
in.
cool. You're in. You're in. We'll invite you over.
During the GCW days, we used to have a fan that used to bring candied bacon to every show.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
like we used to all they used to do like a what is that called, like tailgate
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
When we used to have Game Changer World, so
Mhm.
like 3-4 hours before the show, it was like
Oh,
7
man.
or 8 different grills were going at once with
Ooh.
all different types of shit.
That sounds like fun.
I miss those days, and I miss getting together with everybody in the deathmatch world. Back to us talking about that at the beginning of this
Mhm.
podcast, like there's nothing like the deathmatch fans. They're the most respectful fans there is. They are spoiled, and they do get what they want, but they buy the merchandise, they buy the tickets, they'll fly themselves to the shows, they'll support when you need it the most, and that's what makes a great wrestling fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get myself a question, to counter the question that you asked me earlier about what makes a great wrestling
Yeah.
company, what makes a great wrestling fan is somebody that does their part to support. So everything is a in my head, there's a totem pole and there's pieces of every pie. If a wrestling show costs $20,000, everybody from somebody that bought a soda at the show to somebody that bought 5 front row tickets is all doing their part to fill in the pie.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like the stock market. It's like having one stock in a stock. You know what I mean? Or you could buy 100. You know what I mean? Some fans could buy every single T-shirt that gets released. Some fans don't have the money to do it.
Right.
Some fans collect every single autograph poster that comes out. You know what I mean? And if you're a wrestling fan that you don't really have that much money, but you watch every single show and you tweet about it and you support the company and you don't write stupid things on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, that's a good fan. You know what I mean? It's not about how much you spend, but it's really how much you support.
Right. It's a little
I notice every share. I notice every single time someone likes something, retweets it, reposts it. I notice every single one of these things. I know who's good and who's not.
I hope I'm on the good side.
You absolutely are. You, Brad, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wish I had 300 of you guys
Yeah.
built in,
We're
so that I just know that every show is going to be okay.
You guys have a loyal following. You really do. And I know like
Yeah.
it shows. And you know, it's hard.
Customer service is a big thing, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, there's a very big difference between, like, say you go to a show in Pennsylvania, you know what I mean? And you have general admission tickets, and you just sit in your seat the entire time. No one comes up to you. No one bothers you. You never get up to cheer. You just get up to pee, right?
Right.
And you just watch that show. Or you go to an ICW show. You walk in the door. The first person you see is me. Hi, Tiffany. How are you? Oh, you're sitting on the stage tonight. Oh, this is gonna be a fucking wild ass show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I know you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I learn people's names for a reason, because you have to be personable with your fan base, or they're gonna go somewhere else where there is.
Right. I mean, I get it even with like the wrestlers, the referees, like
Right.
again, like
Yeah.
I get it a lot. I mean, you know, like I'm very known in ICW, but even still, like I've gone to like maybe like a new promotion, and like even the
Sure.
promoters come up to me and like
As
shook my
they should.
hand. Yeah, they came. Oh, thank
They
you
are
so
a
much.
promoter.
Yeah.
Promote.
Yeah. So I've had that experience, and then I've had the weird experience as well. So, but these
Yo,
but
what's
these are
up,
the
Ma?
things.
What's up, Ma? I like your legs. You got
But-
sexy ass legs, baby.
But I definitely I'm a very loyal fan. So if I like it, I will be back. And then I love now, like I come with a crew, like a lot of shows, even stuff outside of New York. Like I'll come with a couple
like,
people.
you meet the rest of your crew
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've
Like,
had
there's the
that.
crew that you don't go with, but like then like it's like, oh, yo, Sally's over there with Jimmy and Joe.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
definitely. Justin asks in the chat, has ICW thought about doing a podcast maybe to promote their shows and maybe get more of a following?
I hate podcasts.
Hey.
Hey, I mean, I hate, like, you know, I hate doing them. I mean, I guess I keep digging myself further into this hole.
Damn.
I feel that everybody has a podcast. I feel that there's a lot of competition out there in the podcast world, and it's not a passion of mine.
Right.
And I normally, like I told you privately,
Yeah.
I turn down, I would say 90% of these. But I also would have done yours no matter what at any time. Like I told you I would.
Thank you.
Because, you know, you named it No Holds Barred.
It was no holds barred for years. It's just I'm here now, so I love it. No, but I appreciate that you did this for me. Like, I love it, and I know like everybody's loving it in the chat. There's like so much good feedback. So,
well, I'm entertaining.
You are entertaining. I'm having a good
like from BWF that's gonna be like, oh, Tiffany, I really would like to come on your podcast to promote my upcoming match that I have. It's my 4th match ever, and I'm not getting paid for it, but I really want to come on your podcast. The fuck out of here!
Oh man, I love it. I love it. So I mean, I have one final.
And if that fits you, stupid.
Oh man. Okay, so I have one final question for you, and I think this is such a great way to finish it off. So to all inspiring or amateur wrestlers out there, what's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Don't do it.
Don't do it? Really?
Like real advice for like somebody
Yeah.
that I really feel that would actually benefit from being a professional wrestler.
Yes.
Be ready for the disappointment. Be ready for the heartbreak. Be ready for it to take over your complete life. don't date in business. The only wrestling relationship that has ever lasted till death do us part is Chris Benoit and Nancy. Don't shit where you eat. Join a proper wrestling school. There's not too many of those these days. If you're in the New York, New Jersey area, if you're in New Jersey, Wrestle Pro through and through. They obviously create stars. If you're in New York, Create a Pro. They're connected to Wrestle Pro, and obviously they're connected to the WWE. So that's obviously the road that you want to go down. Do every seminar. Do every go to different wrestling schools. Don't necessarily just stick to your own. And once you do graduate from wrestling school, and yes, a very key point is graduating from wrestling school before you start becoming a wrestler, because I see a lot of that. I see a lot of inspiring wrestlers. They'll join one wrestling school, they'll realize it's too hard, and then all of a sudden they're a professional wrestler.
Oh, wow.
And then they just say that they're trained. Get proper training. Get told to be ready. Just don't do it.
That's some good advice.
I have a metal rod in my leg for the rest of my life, holding my leg together. But I wouldn't change a thing.
No.
I wouldn't have changed. Well, I would have definitely changed a couple of things along the way, but I would have definitely still gotten into professional wrestling, and I love it very, very much.
Well, we appreciate you here. I could definitely say that. We definitely appreciate you. So
how
thank
long
you.
was this video?
We're almost at an hour and a half.
Yes.
You did say.
Fuck you, Darius Carter. You piece of shit. And the fact that Anthony Gangone gave you a 38-minute
that was my first interview, okay, and and then he came back and gave me an hour, so it's all good. Like I said, it depends on the wrestler who comes on or whoever comes on. I've had some that I went longer than I thought it would go, so really.
I'm glad that I went the longest.
Jimmy says hi. How you doing, Danny?
Jimmy who?
Jumbo Man. Jimmy.
Oh, I thought Jimmy Lloyd. I was getting very mad.
Oh, okay.
Fuck Jimmy Lloyd, right?
Oh, jeez.
Who Jimmy Lloyd ever be?
Jeez.
Is Isaac still in the fucking chat?
I don't know. Isaac, are you still in the chat? I don't know.
You don't see like
some people I can see, some people I can't.
Like, did Jack ever figure out how to use the buttons or not?
I think so. Oh man. So, but
How about this?
Okay.
This is how we're gonna end it.
Okay.
Top 5 husbands.
My top 5 husbands. Yeah. Oh, Gangone's number. I've just changed it too in the independent scene. So Gangone's 1. He's staying there. Nobody can touch him. We've established this on my podcast with him. Number 2 is Chris Steeler. Number 3
what?
is yes.
Does he give you money per month?
He posted
Chris
thirst traps.
Wait. Is it the same Chris Steeler that I would think that it was Chris Steeler?
I hope so. I don't know.
Like, does he still do like the designs in his hair?
No.
But is it Chris Steeler?
He looks like Sean Spears a little bit.
Yeah.
All right,
he's my Eskimo brother.
That's number 2. Number 3 is Lucky 13 with all his thirst trap pictures. He's hot. Number 4 is Ace Andrews, and number 5 is Hank Flanagan.
You definitely have a type.
I do have a type.
It's like that
skinny white boy.
Except for Lucky 13, but you have that like
the skinny white boy.
I go to the gym maybe once a week to take a picture at the gym. Body looking guy.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Like they look like a
Isaac
tall glass of fucking nothing.
I like my little skinny white guy. Shut up. Don't judge me. But by the way,
very intimidating. Very unintimidating.
I have a type. Isaac said in the chat, Big Pop.
I'm sure he's popping for a lot of things.
I'm sure. So, um,
What makes Anthony Gangone such a top pick? That's
Anthony,
something.
I don't know. I go back like 6 years with Anthony Gangone. Anthony Gangone's been one of my favorite independent wrestlers since SWA. I think it's
SWA.
SWA, man. Like that's like where I remember like that. I've told him this before. Like he was shocked when I was like, I've been a fan of you for 6 years, but he's only aware of me since last summer.
Are you talking about SWA?
Long Island.
Deer,
Yeah, Deer Park. Mm-hmm.
I was on those shows, you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. See, I don't know. I always had a thing for Gecko since 6 years ago. So, but he only aware of me.
I don't look like a wet piece of wet fucking mop at all. So I definitely don't fit the mold.
Sorry.
You either have to be a skinny wet mop or a midget. And I'm neither one of those fucking things.
I am done with you. They're dying in the chat.
I feel like Lucky 13's in too good a shape to be on your list.
Well, it's just funny because Lucky 13 falls into like my old school ways of like the blonde and like kind of like the blue eyes kind of thing, like a little bit. But even like if you're gonna talk about other things, like Alex Zane's on there, even Tony Deppin's on there.
Is Pinky Sanchez on
No. No.
Hank Flanagan should not be on any professional wrestling list.
I'm done. I'm done. Can't.
What?
I don't know. I'm just dying. I can't. They're dying in the chat. I love it.
I don't understand you.
That's okay.
I mean,
You don't need to.
Their own. There's people that don't like, deathmatch wrestling.
Right.
And then there's
Me.
people that are attracted to Hank Flanagan,
I'll be all right.
Is he still a wrestler?
I'm done. I gotta stop laughing. That's not nice. He's one of my husbands. Oh, jeez.
You're probably going to get the least out of him in the divorce.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Anyway, tell everybody where they can find you.
In my house. Stay the fuck in my house. There's a fucking virus out there. You can find me in my house. If I go out of my house, I'm breaking the law. I have a mask.
I meant on social, you silly ass. Where can they find you?
Oh, slip in my DMs. You contact Tiffany first.
No,
and
don't.
She's going to screen you. If she feels that you could pass to the next step, you type in Danny Demanto, and then you see what pops up.
Okay. I can't with you. I love it. I thank you so much for doing this podcast.
I'm gonna be a hell of a part 2, by the way.
Oh boy, maybe I should do like a round table, like have you and I don't know, maybe a couple other people.
Gangone, and Flangers, and Isaac.
Oh man, it's gonna be an interesting podcast.
Maybe the international superstar Richie Rich. Do you know him?
No. But the name sounds familiar.
He's the little Mexican guy that works at Jack's store.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He talks like this.
Yes. I know who you were talking about. Yes.
Isaac likes to make videos of that guy.
Awesome. We'll keep in mind for like a part 2. We'll get a couple of people. I would love to see like you with like Darius Carter now.
Oh, no, you don't.
Okay. We'll figure something out for it again, but I love it. No, really, I appreciate you doing this episode with us. So it was fun, and I mean, we had a lot of people cracking up in the chat. I know, again, Isaac was popping. I seen a bunch of laughing emojis in the chat. So I love it. Ray said he's tagging in for that one. He wants to be part of that roundtable conversation. So maybe we'll do a roundtable conversation one of these days. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Can you do that on the app?
Of course, I can do anything. I'll make it happen.
Oh yeah, we can party, right?
We're gonna party. Okay, guys, we're gonna party. Whatever. We'll get some wine or something harder. I'm probably gonna need something harder.
You know what you should do?
Oh no, what should I do?
You should get me and a bunch of these Jamoke indie promoters.
Oh boy.
and do like a promoter one all at once.
Okay, I'm down for doing something like that. Definitely. I've had a couple promoters come on. So
And I'll be like, "You're stupid. That's why you're so
maybe we can get Jack to come on too, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Jack loves the camera.
Okay, I know he doesn't. We'll figure something out. But I'm definitely down.
You know what Jack loves to watch though?
Uh-oh. What?
All of those people selling their merchandise on Facebook
Oh,
Live.
jeez. Oh, my goodness. I can't.
I got these Maria Matic 8x10s, $10.
Okay. I'm done. I think we're going to end it. I think you're the longest.
I'm the longest.
Just so you know, Hank's in the chat, by the way, just so you know.
Fuck you, Hank Flankers.
It's terrible. Oh my god. I can't. I'm dead. It's definitely
It's all in good love.
It's all good love, guys. Like, it's all good fun. That's one thing I definitely have learned from all you nuts out there. So I appreciate it. So episode 20.
I still don't know why he's on your list. he could be in whatever fucking chat he wants to be in. I still don't know why he's on
the list, man. Don't question the list. The list is what it is.
I'm starting to think that there's people like sponsoring themselves to be on your list.
No, it's my list that I
Are
created.
you getting all this nice computer equipment off of the sponsorship money for the people on your list?
What nice computer shit? It's spazzing out. Like, I wish. So, episode 28 is actually coming this Sunday with Casanova Valentine. So I'm looking forward to that.
Fuck that guy too.
Oh, jeez, this is just like a laugh fest, this episode. Hank said in the chat, sounds like he wants to fight.
Yeah, like Kevin Nash did.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so Danny, thank you so much for this podcast. I really appreciate it. Guys, go give him some love. Make sure you go give him a follow. Go support ICW
I'm gonna
well.
fight you, Hank Flankers.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe, like, share this episode. It'll be on audio. Yes, Danny's up there. You can follow me at Loves to Dream 82 as well. So, guys, once again, thank you so much for this episode. We will talk to you soon. Thanks again.